I hit record and drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets.
Good Saturday morning to you. What's happening? What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? This is the TFG Sports Show, the best 30-minute sports talk show on social media. I am your host, Kendrick. I hope you're having a great start to your weekend. It's a little cloudy, a little gloomy here in the great state of Texas. But you know what? It could always be worse, man. We could be in the Midwest and in the North because they are really getting hit by that winter storm. And we definitely praying for those that are being affected by that winter storm or ice storm, power outages. Even California is going through some winter storm stuff. So definitely we sending our prayers out to all those that's being affected by that. Now, let's jump into this. We're going to get into it. But before we do, make sure you jump in, hit that like button, hit that share, and make sure you talk to your boy. Come in and get in that comment section so we can talk a little bit about the latest happenings in the sports world that happened this week. Make sure you do that. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to TFG Sports Media on YouTube, and make sure you like and follow TFG Sports Media on Facebook. And do your brother a little solid, do him a little favor. Also, go to YouTube. Not right now. Go to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's SportzHustle. That's my personal YouTube channel. I do sports there as well, but we doing it big here on TFG Sports Media and TFG Network, period. So come, we got something for everybody. So make sure you subscribe to all the shows on the channel, but make sure you get in this comment section so we can chop it up. So we're going to jump right into it. We're going to start off with our quick sports hits. First hit, USFL. Not the XFL, the USFL held its first ever college draft on Tuesday. Head coaches and GMs of all 8 teams remotely drafted the rights to 80 eligible players. Players must be out of high school for at least 3 years and have waived their eligibility and their remaining college eligibility. So this is the first ever USFL draft they did like this. And again, it was held on Tuesday. Some of the notable names that you may recognize, I do. Second round went to the Memphis Showboats. He was the 11th pick, cornerback Isaiah Bolden out of Jackson State. Yep, one of Coach Prime's players. He went in the second round to the Memphis Showboats. In the fourth round, the 30th pick, wide receiver Dervis Davis out of TCU. He went to the Birmingham Stallions. The fifth round, the 39th pick, cornerback Dejon Warren, another Jackson State defensive back. He went to the New Jersey Generals. And in the ninth round, the 71st pick, defensive end B.J. Thompson out of East Texas area, SFA, Stephen F. Austin. He was chosen by the Birmingham Stallions. So again, the USFL held their first ever college draft. Their season doesn't kick off to April, but the XFL kicked off last weekend, and they have got some pretty decent numbers, according to what I've seen preliminary. So we got that from the USFL. Now, our second quick hit, we're talking wrestling, or wrestling, as they say in Texas. WWE Vince McMahon is looking for potential buyers or a buyer for his wrestling empire. Bloomberg reported that the 77-year-old McMahon is seeking at least $9 billion, and he may already have some potential buyers lined up. Some names that may be in play: NBC Universal Media, Fox Corp, Amazon, Disney, and Endeavor Group, which bought a controlling interest in the UFC for $4 billion in 2016. So again, you know, Vince McMahon actually has stepped down this past summer because of some sexual improprieties and paying off some women that he had improper relationships with. And now he came back in January, but now he's looking to sell, and he's seeking about $9 billion, and I'm quite sure he probably will get that. Now, our third pick hit is we had a coaches firing in the NBA. Atlanta Hawks fired head coach Nate McMillan on this past Tuesday. McMillan had a record of 99-80 as the Hawks head coach, and he took the Hawks to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2021. The Hawks are currently sitting at 29-30 and in eighth place in the Eastern Conference. And there was some run-ins. There was with the star of the team, Trae Young. He and Nate McMillan had a couple of run-ins, so they didn't have the greatest relationship. So the Hawks managers or owners decided it's time to go a different route. And Quinn Snyder, according to reports, is working on finalizing the deal to be the next head coach of the Atlanta Hawks. If that name sounds familiar, Quinn Snyder resigned as head coach for the Utah Jazz last year. So again, those are our quick hits for this morning. Now let's jump into our first hot take. Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. Cruiserweight bout. Yeah, we got a fight coming up. Matter of fact, this fight happens tomorrow. 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, and they are fighting in Saudi Arabia. Now, Paul has 6 professional fights with no amateur background, and if you know Jake Paul is a YouTube star. He got his start doing this thing on YouTube. And Tommy Fury is also somewhat of a reality star from the UK. If you don't know, Tommy Fury is the half-brother of heavyweight champ Tyson Fury. Now, he has a little bit more amateur experience than Jake Paul does, but they both are kind of green. Now, the thing is, I've been reading some comments. Some people are giving Jake Paul the heads up in winning this cruiserweight bout. We'll see. We'll see. Because, again, Jake Paul, he still has that YouTube tag to him. I mean, he's having a couple of fights. You remember he knocked out Nate Robinson. That became a meme. He did beat Anderson Silva, but he hasn't really fought anybody. Now, Tommy Fury is 8-0 with 4 knockouts, and he last fought in April, beating Daniel Bosianski on points. And Paul is 6-0 with 4 KOs. And his last fight, again, he outpointed UFC legend Anderson Silva. Now, according to Sportzack, that's a website where they kind of let you know how much money these guys are making. According to them, Paul is going to make a little bit of money. He's going to make $3.2 million plus 65% of the pay-per-view money. So his payout is going to be roughly around $8.5 million. Now, Fury is poised to make $2 million purse plus 35% of the pay-per-view money, which will come out to roughly $4.5 million. Now, again, this fight is happening in Saudi Arabia. It's going down tomorrow. It's a pay-per-view event, ESPN Plus. It's $49.99 if you want to get it. And with the main event, again, Paul and Fury set to take place around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over here. So, again, I'll be honest with you. I'm a big fight fan, but Jake Paul, I still look at him as a YouTube guy. Some guys came out to kind of vouch for him and say that he looks like he got some of the skills that can make him a good boxer. So this is going to be a test because, again, Tommy Fury has a little bit of amateur background with him. So this is going to be a whole lot different than what Jake Paul has been seeing. He was on the Bomani Jones show back last month on HBO, and it got a little chippy. Bomani Jones asked Paul that, what if you lose this match? Will people still be interested? And Jake Paul didn't take too kindly to that question, but it's a legitimate question because I'll be honest. Would anybody be interested in continuing to watch Jake Paul if he lost this match? I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't. I've only watched him fight that one time, and that was the Nate Robinson thing. And again, I just looked at it as an exhibition. I hadn't really taken him seriously as a fighter. But again, some fighters have come out to support what Jake Paul is doing. They're saying he has the confidence, and he's put in the work to become a fighter. So again, boxing isn't easy, and then to pick it up late in your career, because most boxers start boxing in their early teens. So to pick it up later, it can be difficult, So I don't know. I don't know what the temperature is for people wanting to see it, but we'll see, because tomorrow, again, it's going down in Saudi Arabia. It's pay-per-view, $49.99. There's not much going on. We do got the XFL going on, but those boxing fans that are truly boxing people, they may want to check this out. I'm going to say, I think Tommy Fury is going to win this fight. And I hadn't really seen him fight either, but just going on my experience in watching boxing, I think Fury just has a little bit more experience and something that Jake Paul hasn't seen up to this point. So, again, will it be entertaining? We'll see. I'm not going to buy it, but I'm definitely going to be watching the boxing round by round, the commentating where you can get that on different sites just to see how it's going. So again, Jake Paul, Tommy Fury is going down to Saudi Arabia tomorrow, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, ESPN Plus. You can get it. Pay-per-view, $49.99. So let's move on to our next hot take. We're talking Russell Westbrook. Man, I'm glad that soap opera is done. Westbrook had his debut last night with the Clippers and the Kings. And let me say this. First of all, that game went crazy. It went double overtime. I actually stopped watching it in the third quarter. I wake up this morning. This game went double overtime. I think it's the third highest scoring game ever second highest scoring game in NBA history. The Clippers lost 176-175 in double overtime. Westbrook had a solid game. His debut, he went for 7. He started too. He's going to be starting. He went for 17 points, 14 assists, and he had 7 turnovers. But before that, let's talk about his time with the Lakers. I'll be honest with you, that was the biggest soap opera, and I think Westbrook became the scapegoat for the Lakers' miscues and for their garbage play. Westbrook, he took the heat for it, and I thought he was part of it, but he wasn't the whole reason why that Lakers that chemistry didn't mesh. You had LeBron James in and out of the lineup with injuries. Anthony Davis can't stay hurt. Then you had injuries to Schroeder. You didn't have any shooters. Westbrook game really didn't mesh well, in my opinion, with the Lakers. You know, from the Frank Vogel, who became the scapegoat, him and Westbrook didn't get along. Then you bring in Darvin Ham, who decides to bring him off the bench. Westbrook accepted his position, his role, and he did all he could do. But I think that at the end of the day, LeBron James and Anthony Davis didn't have his back. I think, LeBron James was the biggest one that wanted him there, and then he didn't have his back. But that's beside the point now. He's with the Clippers. I think a lot of sports opinionists have given their opinion. They don't know if it's going to work or not. I mean, I think you got to give it time. I mean, first game last night, I watched it. He looks like it's going to take some time for him to gel with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and the rest of the battle. But from last night's play, he was running the guard like he should. He was making sure he was getting the ball to George and Leonard in their spots. And yeah, he had a couple of crazy turnovers, but that's part of his game. You got to live with that with Russell Westbrook. But outside of that, he played a pretty solid game, and I think his game is going to fit that team because the Clippers. You look at the Clippers roster and the Lakers roster, hands down, the Clippers got the better roster. They got players that can shoot the rock. So again, Russell Westbrook didn't really leave LA. He was traded to Utah. He got bought out by Utah, and he ended up signing with the Clippers. Now the Clippers can look to make that run to the Western Conference Finals and eventually to the NBA Finals. But I think now the Clippers, man, might be. They're gonna be a team to be reckoned with. I really do. I think adding Russell Westbrook is definitely going to help this team. I think they got to do a little bit better defensively because doggone Kings exposed them last night. They had 2 players go for 40. They had DeAndre Fox went for 40 and 14, I think, and Malik Monk, a former Lakers, came off the bench and went for 40. So the Kings is one of those teams that's sleeping under the radar too. But as far as Russell Westbrook, I think it's a breath of fresh air for him. I think it's good to see him with the Clippers. I think with him playing with George before definitely helped because he and George played in Oklahoma City. So they have a chemistry. They kind of know each other's game. Now it's just him getting acclimated and learning where Kawhi Leonard wants to get the ball. Again, Kawhi Leonard had a monster game last night too. He went for 40. I think the Clippers are going to be okay. Right now, I think they're sitting in the 4th or the 5th spot. I think that's probably where they're going to stay around there. But I think they're going to be a team to be reckoned with now with the addition of Westbrook. As long as bar any injuries, I think the Clippers are going to be a team to watch out for in the Western Conference in that conference. So we'll see what happens. Again, salute to Russell Westbrook. He took a lot of negative energy from people on air and off air too, and his teammates kind of left him hanging. I listened to a soundbite from Anthony Davis when he was asking him about his reaction to Russell Westbrook signing with the Clippers and how he thought he would fit in. He was kind of just vague with it. He didn't say, like, I think Russell will do well. He just kind of said, I don't understand their team over there, this and that, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, I just think that it was good, a breath of fresh air. Now, people really going to see what's the real problem with the Lakers now that Russell Westbrook is no longer the scapegoat. So we're going to keep our eyes locked on that one. Now let's move on to our next hot take. We're talking Washington Commanders, that team in the NFC East. They hired Eric Bieniemy as offensive coordinator, assistant head coach. If you don't know, Eric Bieniemy spent 10 years in the Kansas City Chiefs organization, but he was offensive coordinator for 5 years under head coach Andy Reid, two-time Super Bowl champ. He started out as a running backs coach with the Chiefs. He moved up to become the offensive coordinator when Matt Nagy left and took the head coaching job in Chicago, and he became the offensive coordinator under Andy Reid in 2018. But he didn't call plays. So it's been a lot of people questioning his coaching acumen and his coaching ability. I got some sound from LaShawn Shady McCoy. He had a lot to say about Eric Bieniemy. Lamar, go ahead and roll that tape for him.
What's his value? What makes him a good offensive coordinator? See, the problem is a lot of these people that go on social media, oh, he should be the guy for the job. They haven't played there. They're not in the locker room. I've been in the rooms where he's coaching, and he has nothing to do with the pass game at all, right? When the plays are designed, that's Andy Reid. When you talk about offensive coordinators, I can tell you what makes Brian Daboll with the Giants a very, very good coordinator. I can tell you what Andy Reid or Doug Peterson. But when I ask about Eric Bieniemy, what makes him good? When we watch the film or practices and we correct the wide receivers, the running backs, the quarterbacks, he doesn't talk in there. Andy Reid talks in there. He may say things to the running back because he's an ex-running back coach. I get that. But he has no real responsibility. Now you go from the Chiefs, where you can hide behind Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid. Then you go to the Washington, where you got to call plays. You got to run the meetings. You got to run the installs. And last issue I have with him is what makes Andy Reid so great, not the play calls, which we see that, which, I mean, that's one of it. But the other thing is, like, adapting to the players. For Bieniemy, my first practice, I couldn't believe it. He dog coaching, he dog cussing the players. I'm like, and not just the regular players, Kelsey, other players. So it's like, it's hard for me. I'm rooting for him because he's a black coach, and I love to see black coaches win. Also, he's a running back coach. Running back coaches don't never get a chance to be offensive coordinators. The last one was like Anthony Lynn. So I want that to do well for him. But if I got to do my job and be honest, my thing is just, where is the true value at?
If I ever heard a backhanded compliment, that is where I heard right there. You know what a backhanded compliment is? When someone says, I want you to do well, but God dog it, then they just trash you. That's exactly what LaShawn Shady McCoy, and he got the right nickname because he was shady. He threw a lot of shade in that. Just to give you heads up, Shady McCoy played for the Chiefs only one season. He only played with the Chiefs one season, and he didn't get a lot of carries. So I don't know if he's feeling a little salty, but that was very, very harsh. Now, a lot of former Chiefs and current Chiefs took up for Eric Bieniemy. One former Chief, running back Jamal Charles, would respond to McCoy's segment and vouched for Bieniemy, saying he coached them for 4 years and learned a lot under Coach Bieniemy and deserves to be a head coach. Former wide receiver Tyreek Hill, who's with the Dolphins, came out with a little tweet in support of Bieniemy. He just said that, Shady, you mad because Coach B told you to tuck the ball. And what that means is LaShawn McCoy had a few fumbles in his time with the Chiefs. He said that. And Super Bowl MVP quarterback Patrick Mahomes has vouched for him from the very jump and said he don't know. He was very instrumental in his development as to make him the quarterback that he's become. And Andy Reid has nothing but glowing statements to say about Eric Bieniemy. Now, the rumor had been that Bieniemy has not interviewed well for some of these jobs. Now, he is interviewed for quite a few head coaching jobs. The rumor was going around that his interviews didn't wow. I don't understand that. I mean, they were handing out jobs like Skittles to guys that had never called plays. Everybody has been pinpointing that he's never called plays. Well, Matt LaFleur, who was the head coach of the Packers, the team, my team, he didn't call plays before he was hired. Matt Nagy didn't call plays before he was hired in Chicago. So I don't understand that perspective because he was part of building the offense. Now, the only thing is this is a lateral move, some would say, in my opinion. You was the offensive coordinator for Kansas City. You go to the offensive coordinator for the Commanders. But during this press conference, Eric Bieniemy said that, he just felt like he had to move because if he didn't move, he wouldn't be challenged. He said he needed a new challenge. So I respect that. And as far as Bieniemy's response to LeSean McCoy, he was gracious and professional, said, you know what, LeSean McCoy has a right to his opinion. He said, who am I to say what he thinks? He said he's a great player, but, you know, I really don't have any thoughts on that. He said, I think he's a great player, and that's his thoughts. If that's what he thinks, so be it, but it doesn't have an effect on what I'm going to be doing here in Washington. So, again, Eric Bieniemy got his shot to be an OC, assistant head coach. Now, again, I think he should have been a head coach at one of these jobs, regardless of, you know, you giving out the other coaches of non-color, white coaches, they get these head coaching jobs just like that. You know, why do brothers got to jump through hoops and have a whole different resume compared to those? So again, I think that was real shady on LeSean McCoy, by the way. And I'm not a big fan of his. I mean, you know, he's a former professional football player. He played for the Eagles and the Bills and the Chiefs, and I get it. A lot of times these companies go with the former athletes because they play the game. But I would say this: just because you play the game don't always mean that you understand and know how to talk the game. Your opinions. I mean, I've watched enough football and basketball. I think I got enough knowledge to speak on it, just like a former athlete. But anyway, I just thought that was shady on Shady McCoy's part. But Coach Bieniemy, he's starting off in the NFC East. Cowboys, that's going to be y'all nemesis now. He's got Sam Howell. I think is going to be the quarterback for the Commanders. And will they go after Derek Carr? They could look to bring him on because he was released by the Raiders. So we'll see what happens with that. And congratulations to Eric Bieniemy. Now let's get down to our next hot take. We're talking sports wrap. We down to our sports wrap. And if you didn't have anything to do last weekend, the NBA All-Star Game was going down Saturday and Sunday. We had the Saturday night festivities, and then we had the NBA All-Star Game on Sunday night, which was a ratings disaster. It was in the dumps. The numbers came out, and it was pretty bad. It was a 22% decrease from last year's, and I think Major League. I think not the Indy 500. Some racing had better numbers than the NBA All-Star Game for Sunday night, and it was horrible. It was. I watched like the first quarter, and that was enough of it because it was just bad. It's just up and down. Nobody playing defense. But let's talk about the slam dunk contest. The contestants in that contest, we had the 76ers, Mac McClung. We had Kenyon Martin Jr. from the Rockets. We had Trey Murphy III from the Pelicans, and we had Jericho Sims from the Knicks. And the person I picked won. We got some still photos of some of his dunks. Check out this montage real quick. Roll that, Lamar. There you have it. The NBA Slam Dunk Champ of 2023, Mac McClung of the Philadelphia 76ers. He had perfect scores on 3 of his 4 dunks. That's a 50. I call him White Funk. That's my new nickname for him. And who is White Funk? You're probably saying, where did this dude come from? Well, he's a 24-year-old guard who played in only two NBA games. He was called up from the G League, the Philadelphia 76ers affiliate team. He played his high school basketball in Virginia and had already built a following of 821,000 on IG. He won a dunk contest in 2018, the Ball is Life All-American Dunk Contest. He committed to Georgetown out of high school. After 2 seasons there, he would transfer to Texas Tech for 1 season, and then he declared for the NBA draft. McClung, again, is currently on a 2-way deal with the 76ers. After that slam dunk contest win, he's gotten a shoe deal with Puma. And as a result of that dunk performance, and you probably may ask, what is his vertical jump? He's 43.5 inches. He can jump 43.5 inches off the ground at 6'2". He is 6'2". So again, Mac McClung, aka White Funk, NBA Slam Dunk Contest winner of 2023. Again, he signed a 2-way contract with the Sixers, and the G League team that he's playing with, their ticket sales have shot up out the roof. Again, he signed a shoe deal with Puma, and this young fella did his thing, and all I can say is congratulations. And I was familiar with him already because I had stumbled upon some of his dunks when he was in high school, probably about 6 months ago. So when I saw that he was going to be in the slam dunk contest, I said, oh, he going to win it. I said, I already know what he going to do. He got some flavor. So again, congratulations to Mac McClung, the new slam dunk contest champion of 2023. Now, before we get out of here, I got to give you a Black History sports moment. Again, this is Black History Month. This is the last weekend in the month, but I got to give you a Black History sports moment real quick. 1929, the first Black sportscaster, Sherman Jocko Maxwell, began as a 22-year-old at WNJR in New Jersey. Maxwell was the public address announcer for the Negro League's Newark Eagles. Despite his many accomplishments, there were many times Maxwell was not paid for his work by white broadcast outlets. So again, I had to drop you with a Black History sports moment as we wrap up the Black History Month. Again, 1929, first Black sportscaster, Sherman Jocko Maxwell. Again, I love sports. This is what I love to do. I was interested to find that little history fact I did not know, because some of the guys that I wanted to watch that want me to do this, Irv Cross, back in the NFL Today, Stuart Scott with ESPN, even Brian Gumbel when he done sports. A lot of people don't remember he did sports before he switched over to news. The Brian Gumbel, and again, like I say, the Stuart Scotts. I even got to shout out to Stephen A. Smith. You showing your personality, showing those guys that they can do what they want to do. We can have flavor in this industry. So I just wanted to give a shout out to that Black History moment. So again, hope you enjoyed the show. I hope if you watch this later, make sure you put a comment in there. Make sure you like and share this as well. Share the broadcast and subscribe to the channel TFG Sports Media and all the other TFG shows on the network, because we got a whole lot of new, fresh stuff coming for you. So make sure you check us out. And if you ain't doing nothing later on today, check out my man Lee Black, Real Talk for Real Men. He does his show. You can check that out on the TFG network, TFG Uncut, TFG Ratchet. Make sure you check him out at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. He always going to have something entertaining for you, so make sure you check him out this evening if you're looking for something to watch on social media. So again, I want to thank everybody for watching this. Make sure you share. Again, like, subscribe to the channel. This has been the TFG Sports Show. I'm your sports guy, Kendrick, the best 30-minute sports talk show on social media. You all enjoy the rest of your Saturday. We'll see you next week. I'm out. Deuces.
That money clip us now, the new now looks like, whoa. Upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa, 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 whoa. I hit record a drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier,